Okay, so before we get started, I just wanted to say I am doing a giveaway right now. It's for this Mookie poster and a Red Sox t-shirt of your choice. All you have to do is be subscribing here and like that post on either Twitter or Instagram. I assume a lot of you watching already do subscribe, but if you don't, do that and you'll be entered to win. Winner will be picked on May 13th. So now that the draft is over and we more or less know what the Patriots roster is going to look like come the fall, I just wanted to address some things for not just this year, more in general, the outlook over the next couple years. In the future. But basically, the main thing I'm trying to answer here is I've seen a lot of panic on social media, fans being worried, freaking out, panicking, thinking we're going to suck, etc. And the question of the night is, should Patriots fans be worried? And my answer to that is, I don't think so. My short answer is no. The longer answer is no, but it's more complicated than that. That being said, while I'm not personally freaking out, I completely understand where some fans are coming from when they are nervous and worried. I'm a little nervous myself, but I think worried's a bit strong. But the reason for that is pretty obvious. Fans around my age and under, this goes for everybody, but especially us. Past 20 years, we've had this sense of security. We always knew we were going to be good. We always knew we were going to compete, and we always knew that we were going to contend for a title. We became so used to it that it wasn't even a possibility for us to do bad. Like, that was never in the question. With the greatest coach and the greatest quarterback of all time, it was just impossible. Their operation was too good. Their system was too good. They were the greatest powerhouse in all of sports. And now that that's over, naturally, tensions and stress levels are going to increase. All fans, specifically the past 20 years, have felt this, but someone like me, I haven't known anything but Brady. That's all I've ever known. So I think younger fans are a bit more anxious than older ones. That's just my general vibe that I get. I'm sure everybody is, but especially us because we've never had anything else to go off of. But in general, as a fan base, not knowing the future, it creates a sense of vulnerability. And that vulnerability is because there's a lot of unknown, and the unknown can be scary. But I also think there's a difference between the unknown and that vulnerable feeling and weakness. They don't necessarily go hand in hand. Just because you don't know something, just because something's unknown, doesn't mean that it's going to go poorly. It just means there's a couple different possibilities with the way things can go. Some of them are good, some of them are bad. We don't really know which way it's going to go yet. But in general, just the fact that the bad is a possibility is what people are afraid of. The past 20 years, it's always been good. The meter has always pointed towards anywhere from good to incredible. Now there is a possibility of bad or underperforming in the question. And that's something that wasn't present earlier, and that's why people are nervous. A couple of reasons why I am excited. Just because something great ends doesn't mean it won't be replaced or eventually get back to a place where we had a similar feeling. Basically, what I'm trying to say is they'll be good again. Like, it's not like we had that and then now they're going to suck forever. Especially with Bill here. If Tom and Bill had left at the same time, then I would be a lot more worried than I am right now. I think the ship would have completely sunk with both of them departing at the same time. But with Bill here, we're going into a new era without Brady. Bill is bridging that gap. He's bridging the gap between Brady and the next guy. I don't know how much longer Bill is going to coach. I have no freaking idea. But the fact is, he's still got some more in the tank. And if he can guide us into this new era and set us up for the next wave of success, that's huge. And obviously that's the goal. He's not staying here to suck. Like, that's not his intention. Like, he's staying here and he wants to win, and he definitely has something to prove without Brady. He wants to prove he can still win on his own. And that's an interesting dynamic. I think, seeing Brady and Bill operate separately, seeing their levels of success is something I'm very intrigued by. But anyways, that's number one. Bill is here to help guide us into that new era, and that makes me feel a little bit more comfortable. And also, the Patriots are going to have a lot of goddamn cap space come the end of next season. Regardless of what happens this year, I've seen estimates for next year's offseason to have $100 to $110 million in cap space. And that's obviously huge because this team has a decent amount of holes. And all that money is going to help fill those holes and revamp the roster. $100 million can get you a lot of talent, and that's something I'm very excited for. But yeah, as far as this year goes, they're in a really tough spot because their cap space situation now limits the amount of moves they can do. And also, they have a tough-ass schedule, man. And again, I'm going to make a different video covering all this stuff for this upcoming season, but they arguably have the toughest schedule in the league this year. It's not going to be easy, and it's definitely not going to be easy with the first-year starter. And that's not to say Stidham's going to do bad, but it's a very tough position to be put in. As far as Stidham goes, I've been very excited to see him play real games and real minutes for quite some time now. We just haven't seen enough to have a strong opinion one way or another. I've seen way too much hate for him, and I just don't think that's fair because he hasn't gotten the chance yet. I think it's a very good thing that, you know, everything we hear inside the Patriots, you know, circle seems to like him and seems to have confidence in him. And I feel like most of that is genuine. I do think that Bill feels that way about him, but I also think there's a bit of a strategy going here. And that strategy is that, you know, if you blow some smoke up his ass and give him the confidence he needs, that he'll be able to perform on the field. You got to think about it this way. Stidham is coming in, and he has to fill the shoes of the greatest to ever do it. That's not easy. Everything I was saying earlier about the greatest powerhouse, you know, ever, and all that 20 years of success and all the rings and all that, he is the next guy. To have the weight of all that and to be put in a position where you need to fill those shoes, that's tough, you know. And as a young guy, you can totally crumble under the weight of that pressure. I think part of the strategy here might be, you know, if he's hearing all this good stuff about him from his coach, from his coaching staff, if they truly believe in him, you know, that can do a lot for a guy. Confidence can make or break a rookie. That being said, you don't want to make him overconfident because that could totally backfire. And then, you know, you could make him erratic, and he could start, you know, making decisions that he knows he probably shouldn't be making, and that could create a big mess. So I think it's really important to find that middle ground. You want him to be confident in himself, but you don't want him to be too confident to the point where he starts being stupid. So I do think there can be a little bit of that in play, but I do think most of the confidence that he's gotten and the good words from the scouts and the coaching staff and Bill himself, I do think most of that is genuine. The question is, can he do it on the field? And that's the biggest X factor going forward. It's, can he play? Like I said, you know, you can have Bill, the greatest coach ever. You can have all this cap space to put talent on your team, but you also need a good quarterback. That's the most important thing. If you don't have a franchise guy, it's very, very hard to win a Super Bowl. You just don't see it very often, you know, and we'll see. He could be great. He could stink. We're going to find out. But, you know, if it doesn't work out with Stidham, you know, and I don't really know what the free agency market looks like the next couple of off seasons, but maybe they go out there to try to find a QB, or maybe they draft a new one. And I'm willing to give him a pretty long leash in terms of that adjustment, because that's a huge void to fill. And I totally understand it taking time to settle in and perform to his capabilities. And like I said, the Patriots, they're very, very limited in what they can do this season in terms of upgrading their roster. So I think there's a lot of trial and error here, and it's a lot of development this season. And then come next off season and the one after that, there's going to be a lot of new faces coming to New England and a ton of talent. But yeah, to answer the question of should Patriots fans be worried, the short answer is no. And my longer answer is no, but I understand, and I also feel some of that, but I'm not outright worried. I'm nervous a little bit. I'm definitely antsy. I'm excited, but I'm not super worried. I think a lot of people are confusing that new vulnerable feeling with we're gonna suck, you know, the world's ending. But yeah, what do you guys think? Comment below, let me know. Are you worried about the Patriots or you're not? As always, like and subscribe, and yeah.